What's good, everybody? Hope you're having a blessed day, and welcome back to SharpeSports. So I just wanted to come on here and give a few of my thoughts as to the reasons why I believe that the Big Ten and Pac-12 have pushed their seasons back, as well as just the real issue with this whole college football situation that I don't believe enough people are talking about. I'm gonna say this nice and slow and very clearly so all y'all can hear me. Yes, I'm talking to you here. Come here real quick. These players are not students, they are athletes. I am sick and tired of the NCAA and all these people trying to portray these kids as being student athletes. They are not. These are professional athletes. I mean, it really needs to stop. If the NCAA, as we've seen them do time after time again, they've pulled so many stunts as, oh, well, we're trying to keep the integrity of the game, and oh, well, we care about the student, it's a student athlete, the student comes first. They talk about all this stuff, and yet they pull these stunts trying to get these kids onto the field as quickly as possible, which me as a college football fan, I would love to see. But that's putting them as an athlete ahead of them being a student. I mean, all of my viewers who are in high school and college, it's already hard enough having to transition from, okay, now we have these hybrid classes, I'm having to learn how to take classes online, and just all this crazy pandemic stuff. You might have family members who are being affected. And then on top of that, you have to worry about, oh, I gotta get to practice, and oh, if I decide to sit out, is my scholarship gonna be taken away? Are they just gonna recruit someone to take my position? Like, there's so much stuff to think about that this whole masquerade of, oh, well, we're trying to get, these are just athletes, and we need to stop acting like it's otherwise. If they really cared about the safety of these student athletes, they would do like every college has and just do only online classes, meaning that there's no football. They would just completely have taken it off the table and say, no, if we're not opening up the campuses to the general public, why would we open it up for these athletes? It's really annoying, and I know in 2023, athletes are they're gonna be able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness, but that needs to happen now, because you see, these players, they don't have health insurance, they don't have endorsement deals as, well, okay, what about these kids who are gonna be day 2 and day 3 draft picks next year? All of a sudden, okay, they don't have their junior or senior year's worth of tape. So now, are they going to be able to go pro? I mean, if I was a guy like a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields, I would just drop out. If I'm a bona fide first round pick, I would just drop out and just train only. I would go give me an agent, have the agent give me some loans so I could just go and just train this entire offseason. Say F school. Y'all don't care about me. I'm going to go get my NFL money right now. Like, literally, this whole thing is such a mess because the NCAA continues to try and portray these college athletes as student athletes. And the reason why this is even a debate is because the NCAA is losing so much money from them not being on the field. Watch, once the basketball season rolls around, they're gonna try and do the same thing if the world is still in the position that it is today, because the only 2 sports that pull in money for the entire college sports world is men's football and men's basketball. Every other sport, I think men's baseball pulls in some money, but basically 85 to 90% of college sports lose money every single year, and the NCAA is propped up on the backs of college football and college basketball players. And it just needs to stop. Y'all need to pay these kids. Y'all need to have them. There needs to be an NCAA, a national, whatever the NCAA stands for, Players Association. They need to have health coverage. They need to have benefits, and they need to be getting paid, because you're covering them on ESPN like they're grown athletes. It's like, we just need to stop. No one's talking about, oh, and Trevor Lawrence got a 4.0. Nobody's talking about that. All anybody is talking about is, when can these players get back on the field? So can we stop acting like they're these student athletes? And I think the solution to this is very simple. Okay, what's the tuition cost to go to Clemson? Like, let's just say it's $30,000. Okay, Trevor Lawrence, we're gonna give you a 4-year, 120,000. So what? 30,000 times 4 is 120,000. We're gonna give you a 4-year, $120,000 contract, which is basically just covering your tuition. So you can't play for any other school, but you also don't have to go to classes. You could just watch film all day. You're just a part of the Clemson University. Like, that's how it should be, or just have a standardized tuition pay for college athletes. Like, it's very simple. If you're saying that these scholarships are worth this much money, just pay them that much money. They're making hundreds of times more in the TV deals and jersey sales and kids going to the school. Like, I remember I did a paper on this when I was in college, and Texas A&M's attendance went up like 2 or 3% during the Johnny Manziel years at Texas A&M. Like, that's a direct, do you understand? Like, I know some of y'all do. These kids make so much money for these universities in the NCAA. It's time to stop acting like they're student athletes. And also, the product on Sundays would be so much better. Do you know how much better these quarterbacks would be if they didn't have to go to Biology 101 and they could just spend all day watching film and they had a true pro-like schedule for their day? All these, the product on Sundays would be that much better. These kids, they only go to the school. Again, it's something that it ticks me off with football specifically, because basketball at least has the G League. Baseball has the whole minor league system. In soccer, at least in Europe, they have the academy system where you could just be brought up through the organization from like 8 years old. Football's pipeline is through college football. Like, every single year outside of the random years where like some rugby player comes over, 100% of the players in the NFL come from some level of college football. Like, there needs to be some other way to get to the NFL other than I need to go to a major D1 program. Obviously, you can go to D1 and D2, but there needs to be a way for them to get paid right out of high school, because these kids are superstars already coming out of high school. If you're a 5-star recruit, you're probably already verified on Twitter. You probably already got a couple thousand, 10,000, maybe 100,000, depending on what you were doing in high school. Like, these kids are already superstars. Can we stop acting like they're these student athletes? They're not. Let them do what they're best at. Be athletes. I mean, wasn't it the Pac-12 that set out a list of demands that they wanted to have met if they wanted to play in the upcoming season? I think that all this, what's going on in the world, I don't want to say it because YouTube is still weird about it. With what's going on in the world, these players are starting to understand their true worth. If Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Najee Harris, the kid from North Dakota, Trey Lance, like, and he's the FCS. Like, if you got all these top players, guys who we already know are going first round in next year's draft, if they all decided to stop playing, do you know how less money they would get from these TV deals? Like, obviously they already got the money from the TV deals, but the attendance for these games would go down, because it's like, oh, well, I came here to watch so-and-so, or I wanted to see this guy before he went pro. Like, these kids are starting to understand their true worth, and the whole, I'm just gonna call it what it is, the whole slave mentality of the NCAA. These kids are being worked to the ground not for nothing. Whoa, they're getting a college education. You know what? For the bench players and the guys who don't really play that much, and the guys who have no shot of playing on Sundays, you're right. The college education that they get is worth them being able to go from high school and then get a free full ride in college. But the top 20% of guys, 10% of guys who end up playing on Sundays, they just need to, they're only there to 3 years and out. As soon as they have a shot of going to the NFL, they are out. So we need to stop acting like, even coaches say it when it's like a player's so good, it's like, I wouldn't even let you stay here. Like, you have to go to the NFL. What happened about he was a year away from getting his bachelor's. I thought that education was the most important thing. Like, everything that they say contradicts this student athlete mentality, and it's really annoying. So I don't want to keep on ranting, but I believe one of the biggest reasons as to why the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and there's a whole fiasco going around in college football is simply because players are starting to understand their worth, and these conferences and the NCAA and these schools simply don't want to play. They don't want to pay the players, and it's all about to crumble down. I mean, hey, I'll put on something. Hey, y'all can come out here. We'll videotape it. I'll throw it up on YouTube. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. But like, there's so many other means for these players to be able to get their exposure out there. They could play games on their own. Like, literally, every player on Clemson and every player on Alabama could drop out of school, go to the nearest high school. A random person could have a live stream on YouTube or Twitch, and it would pull hundreds of thousands of views, and they could get paid, and they can get paid from it. Like, there's so many ideas but it would take the collective of coming together. And I think that these players are starting to realize their true worth. I mean, I think ESPN said, like, if Justin Fields was allowed to make money, he'd be worth like a 1.5 million. What if he gets hurt? What if he's never able to play football again? That's a whole $1.5 million. That's life-changing money. Like, these kids are missing out on life-changing money because the integrity of, we need their student athletes. we need to stop this. But I want to hear from you guys. Comment down below what your guys' thoughts on, if you guys, obviously we all want to see college football come back, but what are your guys' thoughts on the Big Ten and the Pac-12 pushing the season back until potentially the spring? And what do you guys just think about this whole C19 and everything and college football? And just comment down below what your thoughts are with this whole situation. That's all I had to say. I was just tired of seeing it, and with obviously my favorite team is USC, so we're obviously in the Pac-12, so obviously having that pushback, I'm just tired of seeing this facade. We need to stop acting like this is nothing more than a money play. Everything that happens in the world is because of money, so we just need to stop acting like it. But with all that being said, if you like this video, be sure to leave it a like, comment down below your thoughts, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.